Hello, everybody. Thank you, and welcome to another exciting episode of the podcast, The Future of Web. This podcast is primarily about Web3 technologies. The intention, again, is to educate people, increase understanding, drive adoption of this technology. The idea is that we bring in Web3 founders, developers, investors, designers, community managers, marketers, like people who are involved totally into the Web3 space and hear from them the impact that their product or service is created. My name is Alek, as you could already see, and I'm the host. I'm the founder of the company called Animo Solution, which is a Web3 focused design and development agency. All right. So coming to the guest, so I would say, this is more around, how you manifest things. I remember, you know, knowing and seeing him on LinkedIn again a long time ago, and I have this, list of the guests that I really want. Not a very big list, but yeah. So Sharad is one of them, So that's what I've kind of manifested, as you can see. So let me, share a little brief about Sharad. He is a great personality, and he works at the center of Web3. He has an experience of about 3 decades, and he's a very highly respected speaker, thought leader in technology, innovation, and community space. He is the chief metaverse officer at Cybergear. That's one of his companies. He is a Metashaper, an impact entrepreneur, and leads a strong community of 40,000 people. So without further ado, let's go ahead and welcome Sharad. Hello, Sharad. How are you?
Yeah, hi Alec. Thanks for that lovely introduction. And I'm happy to be here with you today.
Oh, pleasure is all mine, Sharad. Like I said, so this is something that I've been thinking of for a long time, and this shows that manifestation works. So thank you once again for coming in.
Yeah, absolutely.
Great. Cool. So I will straight away deep down, because we have a lot to discuss with a very simple question to know you a little bit better, right? So can you share a little bit about yourself, which you not normally don't share with people, which very few people would know, and something which you can easily share. So.
Okay, I mean, I've had a lot of interesting incidents in my life, and I don't normally get to share them in a public platform. But yeah, so as you know, my journey started from New Delhi, India. I was born in Delhi, studied there, went to college in Delhi. My first job was in Delhi. So I'm a diehard Delhiite fan. Work took me to Saudi Arabia for 1 year in Jeddah and then to Dubai. And I've been here really long, 34 years. This is like home. And yeah, it's given us great opportunities to be an entrepreneur. When I came here, I used to work for Apple distributor. And then when I saw around me, most of my friends were turning entrepreneurs. So I also decided to get rid of the tie and just dive into being an entrepreneur. And I started the first internet services company in the entire Middle East in 96. So like you rightly said, I've spent 28 years. I'm a web 1 guy. The byline of my company Cyber Gear says as old as the internet itself. So it's been an amazing ride. And that one little story that not too many people know about my
Mhm.
business is that when I started Cyber Gear, gear as in GEAR, the
Yeah.
Dubai Economic Department issued me an automobile trade license because I had gear
Okay.
in my company name. And I was trying to explain to them that I'm going to be designing websites, and they did not understand what the internet was all about. So I'm from that generation. I know it makes me look very old, but then we were here before anybody knew about the internet, and people used to even then question the validity of internet, whether it will thrive or it will die. Nobody kind of imagined that it will become such an integral part of our life where we cannot today live without Wi-Fi. And in my
Yes.
opinion, Wi-Fi is the highest point, even above nirvana, in the Maslow's hierarchy of needs. Because you take Wi-Fi away from some person, and it's like taking oxygen away, right? People
Yes.
cannot breathe, they hallucinate, they have, issues in the mind if you take out their Wi-Fi. So I think uh, we have all learned that technology is already a part of our life, at work, at play,
Yes.
the way we shop, the way we learn. And it's only going to get more complicated as new technologies come to light. But I want to leave that for now. So that was my interesting bit when I got an automobile trade license instead of an internet services license. And now, of course, we have smart government in Dubai, and it cruises on the internet. So times have changed, obviously, over the years.
Oh, absolutely. I think that's a very very different sort of an experience that you will not really get to hear. Like that you're because basis on the name, that you totally got a very different license. So it's very interesting. And from a fellow Delhiite, I'm born brought up here in Delhi. So good to see you again. Though online, we have never met one to one, but hopefully we will soon. Cool. So now let's get to know you. I know I've already said in the intro, you have like 3 decades of experience. That's, then you add your own education and, stuff like that. And then you move in different countries. So can you share a little bit more about your professional journey? Like how did you start connecting to the 3D spaces or virtual worlds?
Sure. So, my background is in marketing. I'm an MBA in marketing. So, I'm not a coder or a technologist by profession. But just because I've been so fascinated by technology, I decided to pursue a career in tech. So, my first job happened to be with the ex IBM company in India. Then I worked for Apple for a few years. And it's just by chance, actually, more by accident than design. I happened to be holidaying in Los Angeles like 30 years back, and went to an exhibition called the Internet World. I'm talking like 29 years back. Internet World was the first internet specific event organized on this planet. And it was hugely successful. They had Internet World rolled out in all continents eventually. Even Dubai had one 3 years later. So since I attended that show, I was totally blown away with the possibilities of, the opportunities that internet would provide over the years. And it was my vision that I should quit everything that I'm doing and just jump onto this new bandwagon. And that has obviously paid rich dividends for me personally and as a business person. Being the first mover has its advantages. We captured all the large business houses in the Middle East in terms of servicing them. A lot of multinationals became my clients like British Airways, FedEx, Shell, Toshiba, Sharp, Xerox, so many. And in 2008, we were so busy doing websites and social media, I was keeping my phone off. Literally, I went underground off the grid because I could not handle more business. It was
Wow.
overwhelming. Everybody
Wow.
needed websites, portals, digital marketing. And I went from two people company to 35 people company. And it was like the best innings ever. And then, of course, the internet went through so many ups and downs, and we enjoyed that ride. Even if we were going downhill, we had so many learnings. And I'm a great proponent of it's good to fail. So you can't always be on a high, because then you will not know what it is, to handle failure. So
Yes.
we've had so many cycles in Dubai of the good and the bad. And now it's easy, right? Because you've lived through those, you've learned everything you need to when you're down and out, and then you always plan for that, opportunities that come when you have crests and troughs. So yeah, we've moved with technology. So I started as a Web 1 guy, then of course Web 2
Hmm.
has been the mainstay for like 25 years. And maybe
Yes.
2 years back is when Web3 started surfacing. People started talking about it, and it was just a normal iteration of the internet for me to get into Web3. So in the Middle East, we were one of the first to pivot about two
Hmm.
years back, and ever since we've been educating people. Even today, I find not too many people understand Web3. They think it's only about technology. it's about blockchain. But here I am telling them Web3 is a mindset of collaboration, not competition. So yeah, I mean, it's an eventuality. Either people embrace it now or they wait for it to go mainstream. The choice is theirs. But like I said, it's an eventuality. You can't run from it, you can't hide. You have to embrace it with both hands. And of course, I'm a first mover, so I like brands who are ready to take the plunge and benefit from capturing the market.
Oh, absolutely. I'll agree with that, like, and I think both of us, how do I say it, like being proponents of Web3 in different aspects of it, right? I'll agree that, it will obviously take courage for the new brands, who or the brands to get and take a plunge into Web3. But once they do it, that's where the first movers advantage would come into the picture. Normally, what we hear is, that all these brands want to play safe, like because there's a marketing budget, there's a sales budget, and whatever. But then there is you still have a lot of brands, who deep dive, not only from a cryptocurrency point of view, but from a community engagement point of view. Like that Starbucks coffee trying to create NFTs and several others, like there's Skoda creating a metaverse for driving experience with Skodaverse, and there are several others. But then, and after that, what I feel is that, it kind of stopped. Now, not a lot of big brands are entering, at least from publicly available information. You do have, some fashion brands, they continue to use metaverse for selling, for community engagement. How do you see that driving forward, considering today, like a little off topic, but Bitcoin is kind of rising,
Yeah.
there's no correlation, but people in their mindset do think Web3, Bitcoin, and all these cryptocurrencies are same, not
Yeah.
on, like a complementary, but same. So what do you have to say on that?
Yeah. So I want to put some historical context to this, which is, if you remember when the internet came for the first time, we used to connect through dial-up modems, right? Which used to make that crazy sound, and then it would disconnect. You had to connect again. This
Yeah.
was way back. Now we have amazing bandwidth. We are watching Netflix on the internet, right? No buffering.
Yeah.
So, but the important thing to remember is that it has taken 28 long years for technology to evolve. It doesn't happen overnight, right? So now we are bearing the fruits of the internet in terms of accessibility.
Yeah.
There is something that people have to keep in mind, that whenever any new technology comes,
Mhm.
okay, it takes time for mass adoption. Metaverse, NFTs, DAOs, tokenization were a thing 2 years back. There was a hype cycle. There is actually something called Amara's law. There was an American scientist called Roy Amara, who was
Mm-hmm.
a futurist and also, I believe, the president of the Institute of the Future. And he
Mm-hmm.
made a very famous observation, which is actually
Mm-hmm.
now known as Amara's law. For people who've
Mm-hmm.
not heard of this, I would suggest that they Google this, read more about Dr. Amara's philosophy. And basically, what he's saying is that we tend to overestimate the effect of technology in the short run and underestimate the effect in the long run. So think about it. Any new technology comes, we say, okay, this is going to be huge. Let's jump into it. This is it. Life is made. And then when it does not meet those expectations, we suddenly start writing it off. This
Yeah.
is a non-starter. People write obituaries. You must have read that also.
Yeah,
Metaverse
yeah,
is
yeah.
dead. Somebody even said Web3 is dead. I said, why don't you say internet is dead? I challenge you to say that. Okay. So this is
Interesting.
it. People need to put, the evolution of technology in context.
Yeah.
Everything needs time. It has to germinate, it has to populate, it has to be defined correctly. And
Yeah.
coming back to your original question, let's talk about NFTs, or let's talk about the metaverse. Okay. Why
Yes.
didn't it just keep taking off? Why brands started questioning its ROI, etc.? The
Yeah.
reason, according to me, and this is my personal opinion, is Metaverse got lost in definition. It got
Mm-hmm.
lost in translation. It
Mm-hmm.
got lost in implementation.
Mm-hmm.
The way people were defining metaverse was weird. Everybody had his own definition. There was not one unique definition of the metaverse. One of my principals in an investment firm told me, close your eyes and you are in the metaverse. You go
Metaverse.
in a virtual world. Okay, that's the simplest definition of metaverse.
Yeah.
Then came Apple, they said, no, this is spatial computing,
Spatial. Yeah.
their definition. Then somebody else came and said, no, this is the 3D internet. All right, and
Yeah.
and 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 and. So that's what I mean by it got lost in definition. Too much jargon was being bandied. NFT. Who understands NFT? Non fungible token. Very
Token. Yeah.
complicated. Digital collectibles. Easy to understand. Easy to
Yeah.
remember. So I
Yeah.
feel all this jargon that came about was hitting people like asteroids. It was just coming at them, and they couldn't
Yeah.
comprehend, and they got overwhelmed, overawed, and a lot of them said, "This is not for me. I cannot handle
Yeah.
this. I don't understand this." So
Yeah.
I think it's the onus is on us, people like you and me, who are reaching, a lot of people through our shows, etc. We
Yeah.
need to explain technology without any jargon. And I'll give you a very quick example. Last year, I was at the NFT London, and
Mm-hmm.
there was a panel. I think I was moderating it, and I had four panelists, and they were all NFT
Mm-hmm.
experts from different parts of the world who had descended in London that week. So I told all my panelists in the opening remarks, I said I challenge all four of you to have this 45-minute discussion, okay, and explain NFTs without any jargon. You are not even to use non-fungible token. Explain to people how they can benefit from this technology. That's
Mm-hmm.
all what people want to know. How will it add value? How will it change their life? How will it make their business more profitable? That's what people are interested in. Okay, of course, you can show them case studies. Starbucks is, of course, a good example. Their loyalty program is very well accepted. But then there
Yes.
haven't been too many. If I ask you or anybody else to tell me five successful loyalty programs, difficult, difficult to count. Okay,
Yeah.
so
I agree.
here's the deal. I think we are still in early stages in the evolution of all these technology, even for AI. AI is seemingly having mass adoption already. It's the flavor of the
Yes.
season, right?
Yes.
Yeah, people say, if you've got AI, talk to me. If you're a metaverse guy, come later. Okay, so the whole hierarchy of things has changed. If you're an investor, I want to look only at pitch decks which have AI embedded in somehow, some shape or form. If
Yeah.
you don't have AI, talk to me later. So
Exactly.
this is the world we live in. And as
Exactly.
long
And
as, yeah, go ahead.
yeah, go ahead. Go ahead. Go ahead. Go ahead.
No, I was just saying that we don't have to chase technology or use technology just for the heck of
Mm-hmm.
it. We have
Yes.
to use it only if it is going to make our life better in some way. Either
Yeah.
it boosts our productivity or it means I can have a 4-day week, then it is a game
Yeah.
changer. Right? Here we
Yeah.
were, do you remember, Alec? We were working 7 days a week, 24 by 7.
Oh yes, I remember that time. I remember staying in office for 2, 3 days at a stretch. And if you
Yeah,
tell somebody, I mean, that was obviously 10, 15 years ago. But if you
yeah,
tell somebody today that to do that, it's totally unacceptable.
yeah,
Because irrespective, and it was not, I would say, forced earlier.
yeah,
It was more about drive, passion, and nobody was, at my head or probably your head as well. Wanting that, you got to do this. It's about ownership. I think that's where a lot of commitment also comes. And
yeah,
and the way things are moving today, that sort of commitment is kind of hard to find. I'll not say people have become more pragmatic, is what I'd say. They'll say,
yeah,
what is the need of the hour, right?
yeah.
uh, Fantastic. So I think taking that point forward, Sharad, how do you see that AI impacting the Web3 space? Because now that you've mentioned AI is obviously flavor of the season, everybody's talking about AI, whether they understand it, don't understand it. It's been there for ages, like late 90s, I think it has already been there, AI in terms of the form. When you call your IVR, that's a form of an AI, when you call and you
Correct.
put the number, right?
Yeah.
But what ChatGPT did was made it accessible, to a normal person who doesn't really need to understand what goes behind,
Yeah,
right?
so let me
So,
explain this whole
yeah.
story of AI in some detail. I've been in AI for the last 12 to 15 years, okay, in cyber gear. And we did a small project for Dubai Duty Free, which is one of the world's most famous duty frees with $1 billion turnover. So it's huge business. So what we did was we took from Dubai Duty Free 2 months sales information from their POS machines, and we cleaned up that data, okay, and put it in an AI engine. It's a proprietary software we developed right here in Dubai. So we put in this 2 month sales data, and on the other side, we received business insights from that data. And what were these
Okay.
business insights? Let me explain. So this was obviously sales data at the Dubai duty free POS machines, right?
Mm-hmm.
On what
Yeah.
people are buying. So we did
Yeah.
a study on demographics. So Dubai duty
Okay.
free could understand the buying behavior of their clients. So, example, if I am a Chinese person,
Mm-hmm.
okay,
Mm-hmm.
and I am flying to China, Dubai Duty Free wants to know what are the top 10 products that I am buying. Now, what AI did was it showed to Dubai Duty Free that if I'm a Chinese traveler traveling single compared to traveling with my family, my
Mm-hmm.
buying pattern is different. If
Okay.
I'm traveling on China Airlines compared to Emirates Airlines, my buying
Mm-hmm.
pattern is different. Okay, so you
Okay.
can't generalize and say a Chinese is a Chinese and he buys these products. That same person
Interesting.
buys differently in different circumstances. So now
Wow.
what Dubai Duty Free started doing as an example is if I log into the Dubai Duty Free site from Beijing, I don't see a
Mm-hmm.
generic homepage with a shopping cart. I see the top 10 products that those people are buying. And same for UK and same for India, right? So now they could understand the customer better. They could personalize their messaging, their voice, their
Mm-hmm.
vocabulary, and that resulted in increased sales. So AI helps
Wow.
us understand our customers better. That is, I think, the big story in terms of how brands can benefit from it. Now, this is 12 years back. We were already doing this. So now, why
Yeah.
is AI again such a big deal? AI is a
Mm-hmm.
big deal because of generative AI. And
Yes.
generative AI is new. It came last November. So it's slightly over a year now. And in my opinion, again, the big deal about generative AI is that it has democratized AI. It
Yeah.
has made it work as a service model, pay as you go model. So
Yeah.
today, like my company has created a document, a report with the top
Mm-hmm.
750 AI tools, 750. All right.
Yes.
And I analyzed some of these. Most of them are available at $20 a month subscription. So you don't have to pay an arm and a leg as you had to in earlier years to download a software, right? It used to be hundreds
Yeah.
of dollars and sometimes even
Absolutely.
thousands of dollars. Now you
Yeah.
pay $20 a pop and you can start using it to increase your productivity. So I think that's how mass adoption happens when more people take to it. And this
Yeah.
is the way to go. You have to offer a technology as a service on a pay as you go model. And of course, you start by creating a free account, try it out for 7 days. If you like it, you buy. And trust me, most of the people who buy, they never unsubscribe from it because there is a value add. And if they
Yes.
unsubscribe, then it shows that the software is not strong enough. And in any case, the power should rest with the users. So if you are good, you will thrive and you will multiply exponentially.
Wow. So that's a very fantastic point. One, democratizing. What we should take away from that is that people don't want to invest mentally in understanding solutions. They want to just have a problem, have a solution without getting into the insights of it. That is something, at a mass level, not everybody is ready to do. And that's the reason, one big reason for OpenAI to be successful. They said you ask it in your language, like you would talk to me. So
Yeah.
instead of me asking Sharad, I could ask
Yeah.
OpenAI, and it'll
Yeah.
respond to me with all the data that has been fed into it. That's
Yeah.
where what people need to understand. And though they write a disclaimer, but OpenAI still has the answers are based on the data which has been fed in. It could have biases, it could have irrational answers, and they also acknowledge that openly. But I think over a period of time, it's getting better. What do you
Yeah,
think?
absolutely. It's becoming smarter, and AI always
Yeah.
becomes smarter in time as it is trained with more data, right?
Yes.
So every day, every month, it's becoming smarter, and it's a matter of time. Like, I don't know if you watched this today. I
Mm-hmm.
saw a conversation of Shashi Tharoor with
Mm-hmm.
his AI avatar. So
No,
it
I
was
haven't
on,
seen that
yeah,
yet.
it probably came out just today, and I happened to see a clip of it. So
Mm-hmm.
just like we are on a shared screen, two of us, on one
Yeah.
side is the avatar, okay, which is obviously not the real deal. And then there is
Yeah.
Shashi Tharoor himself. So he's having a conversation like you and I are having with his
Yeah.
avatar. Okay, this could never
Okay.
happen few months back, but now these things are becoming mainstream. And if you
Yeah.
use this technology well, I could actually be present in three podcasts at the same time, right?
Interesting.
So my
Yes.
bandwidth increases. I could be in a webinar, I could be in a podcast, and I could be in a Zoom meeting one on one. And people will never know, because as technology evolves, it will exactly
Yeah.
look like me, talk like me, and even behave like me.
Yeah. Exactly. This reminds me of the famous, dialogue from Mr. Amitabh Bachchan. I can talk English, I can walk English, like that. So it can talk Sharad, it can walk Sharad, right? Fantastic. On that note, Sharad, let me share a few comments, that we have on LinkedIn and here. So, these are all coming to you that, Sochil is a fellow community member from another group. And, so she's a love your guest. And here's Ivan hearing, Sharad Agarwal, the king. I'll agree with that, Ivan. And then you have Naja Al Fartasi asking a bigger question. She's like, thank you for sharing. Mindset, the cultural aspect remains key because change happens to us, but transition happens within us. Managing these changes to have your brand resonate and innovate requires mindset shift. Indeed, absolutely. Naja, I totally agree with that because till the time brands go ahead and have that shift that there's this new technology which can actually help them, it will not happen. Right, Sharad, your take on this?
Yeah, so the important thing is leaders have to change their mindsets, because the managers, the team members will follow the leaders. So if a leader doesn't show the way, and I'll give you this example, which I give many times, it's of Nike and Adidas, right? They are
Hmm.
top brands in the same industry. They compete during the day,
Yeah,
but in the night, they
yeah,
share information. So they get to understand the customer better. In early
yeah,
days, if somebody told you that you have to share information with your competitor, you would say, no
yeah.
way am I doing that, because that was the mindset then. But now in
Yes.
Web3, the mindset is of collaboration. You bake a bigger pie, okay, bigger cake
Yeah,
actually, and take a larger share. So that's what I mean by mind shift. And the mind shift also means certain definitions have to be redefined. Like, whenever I go to, let's say, a CEO or a CFO, he
yeah,
always says, what is the ROI of Metaverse? What is the ROI of this technology? And I say, look,
yeah,
first it is ROE, return on engagement, and then ROI will follow. But if you go the other way, you will not have any ROI. So, for example, in Web3, we say you have to have a community first approach, right? All
yeah.
brands need to
Absolutely.
invest in building a community of like minded people. And once you
Yeah,
have a community and then introduce, let's say, a virtual environment, there will be people, there will be acceptance. Otherwise, it's opening a big shop in the middle of the desert. Nobody will come because nobody knows you exist. So build
true.
that community and then start building whatever you plan to. So community first approach for brands is, I think, the key to succeeding in the metaverse.
Yes, I think that's a very, very good point because and they are trying to do. Some are learning from it. Some I remember this. I'm not going to name the car, but it's the, like, uber luxurious sports car brand. They tried to launch their NFTs. With NFT,
Yes.
they were supposed to sell the, you know what I mean, right? I don't
Yeah,
want
it
to take
starts
the
with a
name
P,
here.
I think. Yeah.
Yes, I did not want to take the name, but
Yeah.
yeah, not even a single person either bought the NFT or
Yeah.
the car. I was about to say the name, but
Yeah.
yeah. But then on the contrary, there were other brands, even at the same probably price point, but they created a community, right? And it really took off. There was talk around it, people trying to get. And I think what happens is, as an industry, these big brands really, really need to do it, because then that's when it has a trickle down effect. Because
Yeah.
once big brand do is, then the ones after them, then the ones after them, then the middle ones. Slowly, it'll trickle down to people, a level where everybody's using it.
Yeah,
But
and
yeah,
Alec, if
that's
I may just come
yeah.
in, we were
Go
talking
ahead.
about mindset shift and all of that. We
Yeah,
also need to now stop thinking consumers, customers, clients. We need to
yeah,
start building fansumers, which is fans of
yeah,
your brand. And there's a
yeah.
difference. It's again a mindset thing. If I build fans of my product, they are going
Uh-huh.
to talk about my brand even when I'm
Yeah,
sleeping, even when I'm not in the
yeah.
room, right?
Absolutely.
And it's people will buy when fans say, I love this product, rather than me saying, buy from me, I'm the best. Nobody cares, right?
Yeah.
So if your fans are supporting you, if your fans believe in your purpose, in your ethos, in the way you run your business, you are more likely to succeed than only thinking about clients, customers. No, then clients think they are just a number. You have to know
Yes.
them by name, you have to know their likes and dislikes, and you don't have to even sell to them. They will engage with you, they will like what you're doing, and eventually they will buy from you whatever you want to sell. But it has to be a soft sell, subtle sell approach, not saying this is the price, how many do you need? That doesn't work anymore in
Anymore.
any
It
geography.
doesn't. Anywhere, it doesn't work. Again, so again, coming back to some comments. So you have Sylvia, I think. Yeah, Sylvia from Miami, and then you have Christine. She wants to share, appreciate the knowledge being offered today. Thank you, Christine. And then you have Rotenda. He's saying, always a pleasure listening to Sharad share knowledge and insights on matters of the future of the web. Yeah. Thank you so much, Rotenda, for showing up.
I think I am building fans, right?
Yeah, absolutely. These are all your fans, man.
I'm just
Uh,
kidding.
I, yeah, I love the mention of ROE. Yeah, so return on engagement, return of effectiveness. And I mean, it's a very, very novel concept, right?
Yeah.
So let's go to the next. I have a tons of things to discuss. Uh, so we've understood, a bit of journey, how fans can engage with people, how fans can engage with customers, and what brands should do. How can customers become, like from peon. What was the word that you used?
Fans humors.
Fans
Fans
humors,
humor.
yeah, how fans human, yeah. So that's a very good word, and how it is need of the hour. But in all this, what do you think? What role does education play to drive the adoption?
Yeah, education is at the heart of Web3, just like community, etc.
Yeah,
Uh, Onus is on all of us who have got a head start in this space to
yeah,
be to be doing this day in day out. It doesn't have to be once a month on a podcast. It can be every outing that you have. And I'll give you an example. 2 weeks back, I was at Standard Chartered Bank in Dubai. I was
mm-hmm,
addressing people who had flown in from all the other continents, and we were
mm-hmm.
talking Web3. And
Fantastic.
when I explained to them the concept of Web3, what will it take for mass adoption, I requested them to go back to where they came from and share their learnings with their teams in turn. This is when education is at its best, when it reaches larger audiences.
Yeah,
And when people talk through experience, then there are learnings. And I like
yeah,
to talk of use cases most of the time. Like if
mm-hmm,
you're talking about Metaverse, for example, I think Emirates Airlines in Dubai is setting the standards in terms of HR and training departments using the metaverse, because they
mm-hmm,
have built a metaverse. It's actually work in progress. It's being built by AWS and a studio called Invent in Australia and New York. And
Mm-hmm.
this metaverse is has had a soft launch recently, but the whole thing will be rolled out in the next couple of months. And what it does
Mm-hmm.
essentially is it's going to be used for training 4,000 new crew members of Emirates Airlines who are spread all
Yes.
over the globe. And
Mm-hmm.
today, traditionally, they have to fly to Dubai from five
Yeah.
continents, stay here for 3 months in a hotel, do classroom training, okay, and all of that. It's time consuming and it's expensive.
Yeah.
Now, once the metaverse is rolled out, they can train from wherever they are at their
Yeah.
own pace. There is a digital twin that's been created of the aircraft. So, virtually, you are inside the aircraft that you will be in
Yes.
real life, right? After this training is
Yes.
over. And you are taught
Absolutely.
everything A to Z within a couple of hours. All right. And look at the cost savings for Emirates Airlines. Huge. And once this works, they want to train all their 20,000 existing crew on an ongoing basis through the metaverse. And because they'll be successful in this, it's a matter of time before all other major airlines, whether it is Singapore
Yeah.
Airlines or Lufthansa or American Airlines or whatever, they will all go to the metaverse to train their crew. And this can be extended to large multinationals, to large local companies who have thousands of employees to be training people virtually in the metaverse. So I think this is a good use case where you see cost savings, increase in productivity, and the best thing is people can even test themselves, and know where they stand. So if I get a 7 on 10 on a particular module, I can go back, revisit, and give a retest, and then when I'm 9 on 10 is when I get a certificate that okay, I know this stuff. So as technology evolves, I look at these kind of use cases to go mainstream.
I think that's a fantastic point, and I'll agree with that. And to share, something what I can share, we're also working with a customer on, on this similar sort of use case where they want to onboard and their employees and do stuff like that, right? I mean, the engagement is, it's at a discussion stage, but yeah, what I'm saying is that this is already becoming the norm. The only challenge I think in mass adoption is that people don't want to invest their own time and money, and they're always expecting somebody else to do it. Once you have a successful use case, okay, now I can go ahead and do it, because nobody wants to take that risk, right?
Yeah.
And I think it'll come more down to about the leadership than anything else. How they've structured their organization. Do they acknowledge the ones who are trying to go something out of the box, literally out of the box, and or they just want to be the ones acknowledged only for their successes and not known for their failures, something like that.
Yeah, Alec, based on what you said, there's a very famous Starbucks story
Yeah.
about community management. I think one of the
Yeah.
essential things people should look at in running a successful community is to be a good
Hmm.
listener. Most community managers talk, talk, talk. Okay, they're not good listeners. Best ideas come from the team members, from the community members. And what
Yeah.
Starbucks did is they launched an incentive program where they asked their employees to contribute what they think is the next big idea for Starbucks. Okay, so everybody put in what they thought is a good idea. There was one
Yeah.
guy, he was a barista in Mexico. He
Hmm.
said, hey guys, let's take mocha coffee and let's put some ice cubes into it and blend it in a mixer. And
Hmm.
Frappuccino was born. And today, Mocha Frappuccino is the single largest profitable product for Starbucks globally, which came through a community member in Mexico. And imagine till today, it is the highest grossing product. Maximum sales come from that product. What is the moral of the story? Listen to your
Listening.
community members.
Yes. Yeah, and I have first-hand experienced it, and I'm sure there are quite a lot of people listening to this, that whenever you go to a leader, especially when the, how do I say it, the position gap is too much. You are a starter, you're an intern, you're a junior guy, you're a middle guy, and you go to the decision maker with some ideas. More often than not, they're put down.
Yeah.
Sometimes you don't get to reach that level where the decision makers are there. Sometimes you're put down, and that's where the ideas get burnt, right? there's a book called Die Empty,
Okay.
right? What that says is, okay, so let me ask this question, like something off topic, but we've kind of discussing it. Where do you think, or which place in the world do you think has the most amount of knowledge or ideas? I mean, just take a random guess, like people. I will share this. It says it's the graveyard.
Mm-hmm.
And why they say that it's the graveyard is because, the people die with so many ideas where, which could not be fulfilled. Where people had
Exactly.
amazing amount of ideas that because they were not heard, they did not have the courage to fulfill, or several other reasons, and they died with those ideas. And that's why it's a book called Die Empty. It's a fantastic book. I haven't read the whole thing, but you know,
Yeah, I'll
it
try
talks
and
a
get my
lot.
hands on it. It's certainly very interesting. And while you are narrating this, another story came to my mind, which I'd like to share with your audience. This is coming from no other than Amazon. So, what Amazon does is whenever they have any meeting in any of their
Mm-hmm.
offices,
Mm-hmm.
they always have one empty chair in that conference room, in that meeting room. One empty
Okay.
chair is always there. And that empty chair signifies the customer, the client. So whatever you are discussing has to be customer centric. What would the customer say if I implemented this strategy? How would my
Mm-hmm.
customer feel or behave if I introduce this product or this promotion? And I think
Mm-hmm.
it's a great idea, a great concept to always discuss things which are customer centric. I think then by definition, whatever you roll out has more is more likely to succeed than not. What do you think?
Abs- I absolutely agree. Never, never truest words have been spoken. I'll agree. So having been customer, facing all through most of my career, I understand. That the products are not built inside boardrooms. The products have to be built after discussion inside first the customer's head, then your head, and then implemented, right? I mean,
Yeah.
that's the journey. It's very important, but very seldom get to hear. And yeah, so let's not go astray here. So the question that I really want to know from you is, what is metaverse according to you?
Yeah, metaverse, I think, is an iteration of the internet. It's the next iteration of the internet. It's something that is gonna take time. I mean, earlier I
Hmm.
thought 2 to 3 years mass adoption might happen, but obviously now things are different. And in my opinion, we are maybe 5 to 7 years away.
Hmm.
And a lot of people say that AI has hijacked, that exponential growth that we were looking at. But no, AI is actually going to help us jumpstart the whole ecosystem because AI will empower every pillar of Web3, whether we are talking DAOs or applications of blockchain, smart contracts. The AI algorithms will actually help in everything becoming faster and smarter. So
Fantastic.
AI is not hijacking those conversations. AI is actually going to help reach mass adoption for all the Web3 technologies. And already there are so many tools that are being used, like content management systems for building metaverses. So you don't have to. And the best thing about Gen AI, I would say that these are all zero code or no code platforms. And earlier, even Dubai government had announced, I think 5 years back, a million coders initiative. Like Dubai was going to fund and finance the goal of having 1 million coders from the Arab world. Today, I feel
Hmm.
that is redundant. You don't need 1 million coders. You don't actually
Exactly.
need coders. Coders will be defunct going forward, in my opinion, okay, from what I'm
Hmm.
hearing, reading, because you will just talk to a computer and you will
Yeah.
instruct it and it will do. So coding is
Yeah.
not required. You don't have to be a coder. You probably have to be a prompt engineer. You have to be smart. Your English has to be good, and the computer will implement as you say. So if you look at next 2 years, we are getting there. No coding required, just smart prompting, and
Yeah.
then computers will implement on demand whatever you instruct it to do. So the whole world is going to shift big time. And the other new technology that's going to be a game changer is Let's go back to
Hmm.
that earlier example of, let's say you are a Chinese guy and I'm an Indian guy. Today I speak
Hmm.
in English and you translate it through a translator or interpreter, and then you hear in Chinese. When you speak
Yeah.
in Chinese, again, I need a translator or interpreter. So what AI
Yeah.
is going to do is in real time, it will translate. So when I speak in English, you will hear in Chinese in real time. Imagine the globalization that will happen because of this, right? So this is a game changer.
Oh yes, absolutely. And there are people who are reaching out, especially companies who really want to solve this sort of a problem with diverse team members, because everybody's not a native English speaker, right? Because that's the common language across the world that we speak today. So people should be able to, like say from Arabic to Tamil,
Yeah.
imagine that combination, and from Tamil to maybe some other language, right? So that's something which is going to become very very unique. I also feel it's going to be that use case is it's being developed in silos right now, but as a common ground internet what we speak today of, it will take another 2 3 years till the time people are willing to invest and experiment with it, because
Yeah, and
there's
these
going to
will
be
just
some
become,
issues.
extensions on Chrome and Safari. So you won't have to
Exactly.
go looking for this software. You'll click a button and it'll translate in real time. And then, whole world is your market. I mean, you don't have to
Absolutely.
worry about
Absolutely.
grammar and syntax and all of that. You just,
Oh, absolutely.
yeah, just focus on messaging.
Yes, absolutely. So let's try and understand, so from there, we also talked about community. Now we've talked about your understanding of metaverse. So I want to really understand, first of all, I want to thank you for inviting me to the Metashapers event as a speaker. So thank you for that opportunity. Uh, but what is the idea behind Metashapers?
Yeah, so Metashapers itself is an idea. Okay. Metashapers is not just a community. And I say an idea because, there's a saying, if you want to do something for 10 years, plant a seed. If you want to do something for 100 years, plant a tree. But if you want something to live beyond your years, you have to plant an idea. So Metashapers is an idea. And the idea behind this idea is to educate people. It
Hmm.
is to bring thought leaders to the common man, because common man otherwise does not have access to thought leaders. They don't even know who the thought leaders are. So what we've done is we've put together people who know their stuff in different parts of the world in different
Yeah.
domains and put
Hmm.
them all in one umbrella, under one umbrella. So now we are almost more than 350 people. If you go to our website, meta-shapers.com, it is open for all. Anybody who's watching the show can go to this website, meta-shapers.com, create their own profile, and start networking with people, like minded people. And of course, we maintain a smaller WhatsApp group, which is by invitation only. And that requires certain commitment. So you have to show up for our monthly meeting. It's on first Tuesdays of every month, which means tomorrow, 5 p.m. Dubai time, it is Meta Shapers networking time. Everybody has to be there. And then we discuss, we brainstorm, we look at use cases, we look at adoption in different continents. So you asked me earlier, what do you think about metaverse? What do you think about adoption? It's going to be different in different parts of the world. There's no one unique answer. In Far East, it might be higher than it is in Australia, for example. In India, because of the numbers, it might catch the imagination of more people than, let's say, in Austria, which has a smaller population. So, adoption is not one generic across the planet. Some things like NFTs have caught on, let's say, in Indonesia, in Singapore, in Philippines. All right.
Yeah.
And people would not imagine that they would be in the top three countries worldwide for adoption of NFTs. So it has a cultural background to it, it has a educational background to it, it has a use cases background, so it differs. And so Meta Shapers, to answer your question, is a bunch or a group of thought leaders, industry leaders, entrepreneurs whose mindset is to share and give back to society. It's not to just monetize and make money, it is giving back. And each one of us has taken a pledge that in our life we will launch certain initiatives that make this world a better place. And that's an unwritten code of conduct which drives Metashapers.
Fantastic. I think that's a very, very, unique and a noble cause, and that is what initiatives like these are the ones which are going to drive the innovation and the industry forward, right? So let's
And,
let's
and the
let
summit in which you participated is one of those endeavors. We've had
yes.
two already. First one was a single day summit. This one was
Hmm.
over 2 days. I'm
Yeah.
already planning another, which will probably go for a week. It will be more like a festival than a summit, and we'll
Well,
open
nice.
it up to all those who are interested, and we'll go, Web3 and beyond, because for all you know, the next technology is already in the making, right?
Yes.
So it doesn't stop at Web3. There's more to come, obviously.
Oh,
So we
oh,
are
people
looking,
are.
yeah, we've got futurists in the group. We've got trend watchers in the group. I've launched a new site called Trends Unplugged, which has
Mhm.
got, we launched it only 3 months back. It has more than 300 reports today. I encourage your audience to go to trendsunplugged.io. And those who want to know what the future is all about, you can find it there.
Fantastic. I think there's so much of value that you're already giving out, Sharad. So nice, that's amazing. Let's pick up some comments here and then I'll ask, a couple of more questions. So I think Christine says, I think this was around the use case that you had mentioned around with the airlines. It's a very good use case. And yeah, so this is, so Sangeeta mentioning that how will it be available, making education affordable to all students and teachers, especially in tier two and tier three schools. Your take first.
Yeah, this is already happening in a smaller way right now, and it's a matter of time before it multiplies. I'm personally aware of certain Metashapers, for example. One of them is based in Dubai and
Hmm.
is actually running an initiative which is to empower girls in Morocco who are living in remote areas with little or no access to the internet to be able to use the metaverse to educate themselves. So if you are interested in knowing more, you can send me a direct message. I'm happy to connect you with this person who teaches in one of the universities in Dubai, well-known SP Jain college here. And this is not her institutional initiative. This is in her personal capacity because she is Moroccan by birth and she wants to give back. Like I told you, Metashapers have a give back
Yes.
pledge. So this is
Yes.
her way of making this world a better place by educating. I don't know exact numbers. It's about 60 to 100 girl students who will now have access to learn in the metaverse, and she's going to continue to populate it. So there is seamless distribution of knowledge. I'm sure there are so many more of these kind which have not come to my attention, but yes, this is a very good use case. Education in schools, and I think Web3 has to be part of the curriculum in schools. It should not be that when you go to university and enter life that you have to learn about Web3. Web3 has to be taught in schools, and all these existing age-old curriculums have to be totally revamped with
Yeah.
all the new terms, phrases, concepts that people need to learn now, because all our children, I mean, I'm sure a lot of audience here have smart children. At least I trust my two, who seem to know more about all this than I do, because they are digital natives, right? They're born with mobile phones. We are from a black and white television era, who very later in life got to access the internet. So I trust the next generation, the Gen Z. And interestingly, three of the ventures where I'm involved in, Metaverse Ventures, I'm advising them as a board member. All those three ventures are run by 22 and 24-year olds, Gen Zs. So that, I think, makes a point that they are already very aware of new technologies. And it also means that the future is in the right hands.
Fantastic. I love, when you said that education is very important. Coincidentally, I'm traveling tomorrow to Chandigarh University to give a lecture on, metaverse.
Very good. Let me know
Yeah.
how
So
it went, because I studied 2 years in Punjab University in Chandigarh.
oh, nice, nice,
Yeah.
fantastic. So good. Hopefully, Sangeeta, you got your answer. And then, so then I want to take this question before we go to the next one. This is more of a comment when we mentioned, So Anita says that metaverse equal to the next iteration of the web naturally.
Exactly. Yeah.
Right. So this is a question from Kalpit. I think it's a little longer one. So it says that how might the challenges of integrating high quality 3D content into web environments be overcome in the near future, especially with the rising demand driven by Web3, Metaverse, AR, VR technologies? Considering that by 2025, it's projected that the Metaverse economy could reach over $800 billion dollars, and with the increasing adoption of AI/ML, what innovation solutions and advancements do you envision playing a significant role in addressing these challenges? A
Yeah,
long one, but I hope you
yeah.
got the gist.
So I believe in technology. I believe in a concept called transhumanism, which
Mhm.
means that technology can solve any problem on the planet. Whether today it's a problem of hackers taking our passwords, security issues, privacy issues. These are all real issues in the environment we are living in, right? But
Yeah,
technology will find a solution to those. Now, in terms of all those numbers that are bandied around the potential of the metaverse, everybody has their own take. If you read a Citibank report or a Arthur D. Little KPMG report, they come out, Deloitte's come out with their own set of numbers. So that doesn't matter whether it is 800 billion or 400 billion. The important point for people to remember is how is technology going to make our lives better?
yeah,
That is the only question you need to be concerned with. Okay. And the answer lies in innovation. Now, you have all, I'm sure, read about the new product called AI Pin, right? It's a little device with a chip. You add on your label and you talk to it. You don't need a
yeah,
mobile phone anymore. You can display anything on any surface. It could be your hand, your wrist, your sleeve,
yeah,
a mirror in front of you. You don't need a display screen. And it's a little device. Today it costs, I believe, $699. In
yeah,
time, when mass adoption happens, it'll be $99. It'll be cheaper than the mobile phone that today we are using. Apple is charging almost $800 to $1,000, right?
for a
Yet
basic phone.
for a basic phone, and everybody is using it. Just
Yeah,
imagine now that it gets replaced by a $99 device. Won't
yeah,
everybody have it? Won't everybody love it? So this is
yeah,
where the world is going in. When pricing comes down, it's economies of scale. End of the day, this is not rocket science. The more you sell, the pricing becomes better. So going into the future, I feel that when these kind of products, even the Apple Vision Pro, okay, today is expensive. They have a B2B product. Then
yeah,
B2C will follow. Eventually, it'll come to, I hope, $100. Then mass adoption will happen because it'll just be like wearing another set of glasses like this, not these chunky, claustrophobic, I call them, devices.
Have you
They're
tried it already?
yeah, I haven't tried it, but I know a lot of people who've tried it, and the feedback I'm
Yeah,
getting is this is not for me. I can't wear it for more than 30 minutes. Then mass
yeah.
adoption
People are
cannot happen.
returning.
Yeah,
Yeah,
mass adoption cannot happen if I can't wear it for more than 30 minutes. Mass adoption will
yes,
happen when I can wear these glasses for 12 hours a day without any discomfort. It's a way of life.
yeah,
And world is coming to that. I mean, it's a
yes,
matter of time, and that's when all these things, all these technologies will be part of our life without us even knowing them, right? And I'm
yeah,
working for Metaverse of Senses with an Italian company where they are going to put a little chip on our glasses or on our bracelet, and we'll be able to smell stuff in the internet. Nobody believes me when I say this now, but trust me, 2 quarters later, we'll be smelling coffees and pizzas on the internet.
Oh, I remember. I think I attended that session, with that guy when
Yes,
you had done, as part of your webinar series. A
yes,
young kid, right? I remember if
yes.
it's a young
Alistair
kid.
Pornigo, 23-year-old
Alistair,
from
yes,
Milan,
yes,
Italy. Yeah,
yes, Alistair. I think we are connected as well. And that's
yeah,
that's a use case. That's a fantastic use case. That will go from, it'll kind of deal or enhance more of your sensory organs. Right now it's just the eyes, right? And
yeah,
then with the hands, you're getting the touch, and now you're getting the smell as well. So
yeah.
that's how it's going to grow. Fantastic. Let's just take this last couple of questions. We're already top of the hour, and I hope Kalpit, you got your answer with that. So, what are some of the security and privacy concerns that you see, in the metaverse, which need, to be addressed immediately and maybe at a longer time?
Yeah, so I'll talk about two. One is the problem with hackers stealing our passwords, and they reach out to the elderly people and scam people of their life savings. This is like so sad, but the bad guys are just a click away, right? So I think I mentioned earlier concept of transhumanism, which is technology can solve any problem. So again, I'm aware of a technology which is coming out of Spain, where we will all be able to log on to the internet with our brainwaves. So no user ID, no password will be required. Hackers cannot then log into our accounts and steal money from us. So this technology is going to come, or something similar will come, and it might solve this problem. I read just today that $200 million have been stolen in the first 2 months of this year, in Jan and Feb. So
Wow.
it goes to billions of dollars of money being stolen, digital assets being stolen. So technology will take care of that. The second important problem we have to worry about with technology is where our children are not safe anymore
Yeah.
in the virtual world, right? We've all read about the cases of molestation, etc. Now,
Yeah.
it's very, very important that a certain technology takes care of this. And I'm again aware of another company, this time from Australia, that has partnered with
Mhm.
Disney World, because Disney World knows a thing or two about keeping people safe in the real world, right? That's what they do.
Yeah.
This is their
Yes.
business. So he has
Yes.
partnered with Disney World, and he's written an algorithm on blockchain which uses all the best practices of Disney World in the virtual world. Example, they have something called geofencing, which
Yeah.
means no other person in the virtual world can come within 3 feet of where I am, right? That is some kind of protection. And there's smart technology through IoT chips and all, you can generate alerts so parents can see where their children are in real time in the virtual world. And if
Yes.
you, through a system of black points, etc., you can flag people who are suspect. And if they are even in that same room, you can be alerted so you can leave that environment. And so, yeah, so these are real issues, but then people are working on solving these, and maybe 6 months later there'll be some other privacy issues. But it's a cat and mouse game.
Yes.
Technology will solve it, so we don't have to have sleepless nights over it. Go with the flow, consume technology, as it comes, and don't be scared of going there. Just like embrace it with both arms
Yeah.
and benefit from it. Don't spend too
Yes.
much time. I mean, otherwise you can't buy anything online if you're always scared of putting your credit card information on the net, right? So
Yes.
you
I agree. Yeah.
have
Yeah, follow just just need to follow the basic protection protocols. Don't be hyper,
yeah,
fearful, and don't be
yeah,
hyper open. That it doesn't matter. Just
yeah,
stay somewhere in between. Where you just follow the basic protocols. Don't click on links. Don't open emails. Which seem too good to be true and stuff like that. And I think you're safe, right?
yeah,
And
absolutely.
and this yeah. So and the geo fencing that you mentioned. I think it was there already in Allspace VR. They had that option if I remember correctly. But
Yeah,
I mean, it's a deprecated product now, but it had that feature where you can enable it
yeah.
and people can't come. Fantastic. So, last question. I assure you, no more questions after this. You've
Okay.
been here patiently for more than an hour now. So, what is the investor's point of view about current projects, especially in Metaverse and Web3, so to say? I remember you touched upon it a little briefly, but maybe a little more insights would be helpful.
Yeah, so investors' mindset has also changed over a period of time. Like 2 years back, it was all about metaverse-based projects. How will you scale them, and how will you, exponentially grow the business? That's what people were asking for. They were obviously looking at the team members, etc. But now I think the conversations have shifted. Of course, you have to be using AI in any business that you are pitching. If you don't have a AI component to it, investors will not even talk to you anymore. So you have to have a good use case of how you are going to improve the product or service using AI. So that's one. And second thing is, people want to know how you can, make this world a better place. It's not only just about monetizing and making dollars. How are you going to impact people and make life better for them? I think if you can address that opening question, because for a short amount of time, I was wearing that hat of representing an investor in the MENA region. And My opening question to these young, smart Alex always was, how are you going to make this world a better place? And they floundered. They didn't have an answer. And if you can't answer that opening question, then I'm not interested in any more, because there are enough smart people who'll make dollars for me. I want to know how you can make this world a better place. So if you can come up with that big idea, then you are more likely to succeed than, just going after dollars.
Fantastic. I think that's a very good point to end this podcast. Thank you so much, Sharad, for coming in, taking out time. I can go on another hour, but that's for another time, maybe for another episode. But
Yeah.
yeah, and thank you so much, viewers, for joining in with your comments. And Sharad, you totally have definitely a lot of fans. Right? Any
Sure.
last words before we say bye bye?
No, last words are just thank you, express gratitude to you, and to the superpowers out there. We are living in exciting times. We should consider ourselves
Yes.
blessed, and just enjoy every day. I mean, when the sun comes out, you have to be happy, and you have to thank God that we are around to embrace this. And
Yes.
yeah, that's it. It's been lovely talking to you, Alec. Likewise, I want to express my appreciation for what you do every day. This is education
Thank you.
at its best. It's totally selfless. We don't even get paid for this, and I think
Yes.
our karma is going to be good.
Yes. Keeping fingers crossed there. Thank you so much, Sharad. I'll
All
just take
right.
you in the back room. Thank you so much, viewers, for joining in again. This was the 30th episode of this podcast. Go to the YouTube link. I'm going to share again later today or tomorrow, so where you can, go ahead and listen to all the other podcasts. And yeah, thank you so much. Have a great day and a good week. Bye bye.